Good evening, friends. Welcome back. In this video, we'll try to solve a simple problem on hire purchase. And the last video we discussed some of the basic concepts surrounding hire purchase. So I thought let's start with a small problem and let's put our theoretical understanding into practice. It's a good problem. It could be a 4 marks question in your exam. So let's straight away get into the problem. Asha purchased a truck on hire purchase system. As per the terms, she is required to pay 70,000 down. So when I say 70,000 down, it means it's a down payment. 53,000 at the end of the first year, 49,000 at the end of the second year, and 55,000 at the end of the third year. So these three are the installment amounts. Okay, so 70,000 is the down payment. 53,000 is the installment at the end of year 1, 49,000 at the end of year 2, and 55,000 at the end of year 3. Interest is 10% per annum. You are required to calculate the total cash price of the truck and the interest paid with each installment. Right? So the requirement is very clear. We need to calculate the cash price of the asset and also the interest component which is included in each installment. Okay. So you would recollect the format which we discussed in the earlier video. I'll just try to capture that format here and we'll try to fill up these numbers in this table and let's see whether we are able to position to calculate the cash price of the asset and the interest. Alright, so where do we start? If you could recollect, this is a problem where we don't have much of a data. We don't have the cash price of the asset. In fact, that is the requirement of the problem. We need to find out cash price. The only given data is the cash down payment and the installment at the end of first, second and third year. So if you see this column number G, this is where I have highlighted the yellow. This is where the data is given. We know only this data and we know the rate of interest. So where do we actually start? We need to work backwards in this problem. Now if you look at this one, this is obviously the principal at the end of the year. It has to be 0, right? Because it's a 3-year period and once we pay all the installments, obviously the principal amount or the loan amount has to be 0. So what is the last installment which was actually paid? It is around 55,000. So let's try to capture that 55,000 here. Once you do this, so what is the gross amount? Gross amount is nothing but the summation of column G and H, just 55,000. Obviously, you should have an outstanding of 55,000 and when you pay that installment of 55,000, the outstanding closing balance becomes 0. If this becomes 55,000, what is the interest which is included in each installment? It's 10%, right? Okay. Now, how do we calculate interest? Generally, we should have an amount somewhere here. Some X amount should be here, on which we calculate 10% interest, and this amount has to be 55,000. So if you could equate, you can get for X, right? In other words, if you can work back, this 55,000 is inclusive of interest, right? So if you could calculate, work back and find out that 55,000 into 10 by 110, you will end up at 5,000. Okay? If that is 5,000, obviously this has to be 55 minus 5, which is 50,000. Make sense? So the principal outstanding at the beginning of the third year is around 50,000. Right? So we are working back. So once we finish off this year 3, we proceed to year 2. Now obviously, closing balance of 1 year becomes the opening balance of next year. So we are working back. So this obviously has to be 50,000. What is the installment amount paid there? Second year, it's around 49,000. So we try to capture 49,000 there. So if you can add up these two, I'll just try to copy the formula there. It's going to be 99,000. 50 plus 49,000. And if this is 99,000, apply the same logic here. It's 5,000 and it's going to be, it's not 5,000 anymore. So it's going to be, so it's going to be, let me just connect the formula there. So it's going to be 55,000 into 10 by 110. So this was 5,000. So if you can copy the same formula there, it's going to be 9,000. It's nothing but 99,000 into 10 by 110. And this has to be obviously 90,000. So 90,000 into 10% gives you 9,000, which is 99,000. So that's easy. Then we are again working back 90,000. Installment is how much? The first installment is 53,000. So let's put 53,000 there. And if we could capture this here, it's 1,43,000. And so what is the interest on this? So 143 into 10 by 110, which gives you 13,000. And obviously this has to be 1,30,000. If this is 1,30,000, obviously there is a cash down payment of 70,000, which gives you total of 2 lakhs. Make sense? So the cash price of the asset is around 2 lakhs. And what is the total interest? Just column number E. The sum total works out to 27,000. So this is how you should calculate the cash price of the asset and the interest calculation, right? If only the cash down payments and installments are given to you in the problem and the rate of interest is given to the problem. It's a work back mechanism. This is a very important question for exam. These are asked for 4 marks. Now, a small change in this problem is that what happens in a case if the installments are half yearly? Rate of interest is 10% per annum. So let's not change that. But instead of a yearly installment, if I say that this is going to be a half yearly installment, the formula, the format, everything remains the same. Just that instead of you're going to have maybe 6 or 5 installments, double. And very important is the rate of interest is 10% per annum. So you can't use 10 by 110 if it is a half yearly installment. You have to use 5 by 105 for every 6 months. That is the most important part of the problem. So you might get a question where the facts of the case remains the same, but just that the installment is not yearly, it is half yearly, in which case you cannot use 10 by 110, you have to use 5 by 105. Right? So hope this is clear to you. So with this we come to the close of the video, and hopefully it was clear. Thank you so much.